Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Boy, I am really tired today, but I'm going to film this for you because I know it is the new moon. So forgive me if this is a little bit short. I think I'm going to do the 5-card reading instead of the 8 cards, but this will be good so you guys can, if you're interested in my 5-card reading, you can kind of see how it works and how I lay it out. But yeah, so I hope everybody is doing well. I got back from my vacation and I am tired, jet lag from flying across the country, and had like 23 hours sleep, but it was a good trip. So yeah, I already staged the area. I have been doing readings already, so the energy is pretty clear. Okay, so let's see what is in store for the masculine and feminine divine love collective. Anybody who's watching this, I'm setting forth the intention that you will all get a message that resonates for you and helps you at this time, okay? So I ask that the messages that come through at this time be for the highest good of everybody involved. Please show us what we need to know, not what we want to know, and what is in our highest good and absolute divine truth. Allow me to be a clear channel and messenger for spirit and show us what it is that we need to know at this time of the moon. The moon card flew out. Okay, I'm going to cut the deck here. Okay. And I will hold up the cards so you can see them. Okay. So let's first talk about this moon card, because clearly it wanted to be shown, and I always talk about reading for the moon, but it doesn't always show itself. So okay, we have the moon. Okay, so the moon has to do with mystery and a little bit of confusion and kind of going into ourselves and the parts of us that are a little less concrete and a little more ephemeral and less physically definable, if you will. Okay, like our intuition, it's just a feeling we have. It isn't something that we can say, like, point to, like, here, 1 + 1 = 2. Let me show you with physical evidence. It's much more kind of just a sensation. So I feel that this moon in particular is going to be very important for trusting our intuitive guidance and just kind of flowing with the energetic undercurrents of the energy at any given time. I feel that psychic and intuitive guidance that is meant for our highest good is going to kind of pop in and give us information as well. Okay, so the bottom of the deck, the underlying theme and energy at this time for Divine Love Collective, we have the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so Pentacles represent earth, tangible things, things we value. Okay, has to do with give and take, reciprocity, balance of exchange. A good way to look at this card is if you think goods and services, right? You're purchasing, you have the customer who is providing their the tender for the service or good, and you have the other person who's giving it back. So in an ideal situation, one is giving and the other is giving back. So it creates this kind of infinity, kind of equal flow of reciprocity. This card can, if people are not careful to maintain that balance, can represent an imbalance. So if you have somebody who's giving and giving and giving and giving, but the other person isn't able to receive it, they're just always trying to like hand something off, right? But if somebody doesn't have their hands open to grab it, it creates an imbalanced cycle. Okay, so that's something to be aware of here, but there's potential for having a completely balanced, equal exchange between the couple. Okay, sorry, I thought I heard a noise. Okay, so starting off the beginning of this period, I hope you guys are ready. Not necessarily bad, but we have the Tower card. Okay, so there's going to be some sort of upheaval, some sort of sudden, monumental, and soul-shifting change, okay? So you see this tower here. Often you can kind of see it a little bit. There's lightning striking here. So that kind of shows a sudden like spark of divine inspiration or knowledge, okay? A crazy shift that happens very suddenly. And it's going to shake your foundations. Now, the sensation of the tower is not inherently bad. It's just a sudden cataclysmic shift. It does not mean doom and gloom. It can just mean a radical departure from where things were. So if you weren't talking at all, suddenly they're calling you and they want to be with you or something. Or perhaps you're in, you have somebody and they declare that suddenly, I've fallen in love with you. Or just something unexpected that shows up in your sphere that you couldn't have predicted and was far from your mind. Something is going to change radically, suddenly, and it's going to be life-changing. This could be good, this could be bad, but know that whatever is coming is meant to shift you for your highest good. So let's kind of see what the energy is leading to give us an indication. Okay, so far I would say it looks like whatever this tower energy is likely going to be good or transform and lead towards something positive. The next card is the Six of Wands, okay? Wands represent fire and passion. Six of Wands represents somebody who has won something. Okay, so in this card, it's depicted a little different. You see this, looks like a Native American riding on a horse that's kind of galloping forward. In the traditional imagery of this deck on the Rider-Waite Tarot, it shows a man who is gallivanting, who has won, it seems, some sort of conquest or some sort of fight. He looks like maybe a knight. And you see he has like a garland around his neck and, he's being celebrated. Okay, so it is a card indicating celebration of victory, of conquest, of feeling like you finally have won something. It is definitely the I have achieved and won something card. And, anytime that there's passion and the wands in this energy here, it can be sexual. So there can definitely feel like a sexual invigoration or a sexual conquest. This can also represent a sexual energy. Some people equate the tower with a phallic symbol, right? So read for you what makes sense. But it starts off with, this bam, something happened, just totally shocking. And it's moving towards feeling like you've won and come out ahead, and this is a good energy. So this card here I'm feeling is the Divine Masculine. This is a card that's representing kind of where the Divine Masculine is and what's affecting him going forward. Okay, another major arcana. We have card number 14. It is Temperance. Okay, so Temperance has to do with balancing. Okay, it has to do with patience, but it's also the alchemy and exchange of two elements and blending them together. So I feel that the Divine Masculine is reconciling two parts of himself and kind of balancing within himself to achieve a greater sense of being and kind of fortify who he is. I feel that his contact with the Divine Feminine has changed fundamentally how he saw things in the world and who he thought he was and what he thought he wanted. And I think he's incorporating some of what he's learned and gained into his personality and allowing that to fortify with his soul and kind of develop and change who he was for the better. And this is always a good thing if you are around quality people, because the Temperance card is a major arcana. It is the spirit working and affecting us on an earthly plane. So when I get this card in this position, you have people who are being affected in their outside circumstances by divine will. So if the Divine Masculine is feeling this kind of need to kind of blend together and build a partnership with the Divine Feminine, whether it be mentally or physically in his life, this is an excellent sign to see here. And I kind of feel like I'm rambling, which means I'm probably channeling. I'm not even really sure what I'm saying, so I'll take that as a good sign. Okay. So this is the card for the Divine Feminine of where she is moving forward at this time period. We have the Princess of Pentacles, also known as the Page of Pentacles, okay? So, Pentacles represent earth, tangible things that we can taste, you know, and sense, smell, see. All the tangible earthly five senses that we're familiar with are represented by Pentacles, as well as what we value intrinsically in our lives. And the pages have to do with messages. They have to do with study and learning something new. The Page of Pentacles is about a curiosity and a need to discover more and study and work to gain knowledge about a subject. And the Divine Feminine, I feel, is just ready to learn what it is she needs to do to start building, to reach the acclaim of the King and Queen of Pentacles. That I just saw 1111 when I was doing that, so that's a good sign on the counter. I feel that the Divine Feminine is just, she's got this pentacle and she's like, okay, I want to make more of these. I want to understand how to invest in this the best I can and make it the strongest pentacle I can. And I want to be the master of this pentacle so I can, you know, just have everything I wish. And by this pentacle, it's this relationship with the Divine Masculine and this connection. So I feel that the Divine Feminine is looking within herself, or will take the time to look within herself, or look for outside resources to study relationships, or to study her partner, or to see what she can to just solidify and give her the best chance to move forward. She's got this curiosity, this hunger, and just this like kind of like childlike enthusiasm to kind of move forward. The thing with the Pentacles is that it's a little more stable. So even though there is that enthusiasm there, it's not going to be kind of like that, you know, ADHD, bouncing off the walls kind of energy. It's going to be very dedicated, focused curiosity, like, you know, a child who's excited about school and is ready to go obtain that knowledge. So I think that's a really good energy for the Divine Feminine to be in. And again, there's also that message element too, so she might be communicating kind of her curiosity to her Divine Masculine in the physical. Okay, so we have another major arcana. So there's definitely some larger themes going on at this time. We have the Hierophant. Okay, so the Hierophant card represents tradition. It represents spiritual practice, but not in the same way of the Hermit card. This is more of a spiritual practice, and it's kind of shared in fellowship and community. It also represents commitments and morals, and kind of just investing in what you think is right. 5, the number 5 represents change, so I think that's important to recognize here. Also, we have the 2 6s, you know, the underlying energy, the 6 of Pentacles, and also the 6 of Wands in the center. What I think this represents is a change from the current situation, okay, because of the 5 here. I feel that there's going to be a shift in the general energy towards a commitment or away from one, depending on, you know, whether you are feeling what applies for you. But based on what I'm seeing here, I'm inclined to say it's likely towards a commitment or towards a reaffirming of values shared between the couple. So it might not necessarily be like a commitment of marriage or a commitment of, you know, declaring your relationship status together, but it is definitely committing to a new way of relating to one another. And I think this is going to come intuitively. We had this card come out, the Moon. I feel like some sort of intuitive guidance is going to come down and kind of guide the two of you. I see 18 reduces to 9. Okay, so this is a completion number. I feel like you're reaching a cycle in your intuitive development, and you need to move to a new phase in this partnership. And I think that the intuitive guidance of spirit and looking within and looking at the deepest kind of intangible sections of our soul and our consciousness is going to help us navigate and decide what it is that we are going to commit to here in our partnership. What are we developing? Having a moral foundation of what is right, what is wrong, and what works for you in a very kind of concrete way, I think will be the goal. Because the Hierophant represents marriage, along with, I believe, the Justice card can represent marriage as well. Depending on kind of what's around it. But, you think of the covenant of marriage, a husband and wife generally, getting married in a church, and at least with the symbolism here, that's the thought, right? So I think that there's going to be a marriage between the divine masculine and feminine of ideals and morals, or just a general path of where they want to go. And I think that's a good thing, being on the same page as to what works for you, what you want, what you need in a partnership, and coming to that understanding will be absolutely vital, I think, for the pair. Yes, I feel like that's what I needed to say. So, I don't want to drop the cards here. So, thank you very much for watching this reading, and I hope you find it helpful. And if you do, share it with anybody you know who's open to this type of thing and on a love journey. It is open to anybody who is on a divine love path. And I sincerely hope that it brings you the guidance that you're looking for. Sending you much love and happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate. Take care. Bye.